Hello, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I'm your host, Aziza. In today's episode, we are going to speak about something that a lot of us struggle with, which is distraction. You might be wondering, how is it possible for so many people to control their way of thinking? How is it possible for a lot of people to focus without being distracted? And this is what we are going to talk about in today's episode. Today, we are going to talk about the tips that can help us control our way of thinking. Because we are actually the CEO of our mind, and we have the choice. We have the choice to control the way we think. But it's all about practice. We are going to talk about all of that in a few seconds. But before diving into today's episode, I would like to remind you, as always, to have your favorite drink with you. Whether it's a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a cup of matcha, a glass of juice, or water, so that you enjoy your drink while listening to today's episode. So let's be honest. Have you ever sat down to work and 10 minutes later you find yourself scrolling through photos of someone you haven't talked to in maybe few days, few weeks, or even years? Or maybe you are sitting at your desk, but your mind is running a marathon of what ifs, and I should have said that, I should not have said that. I mean, things like that. Have you ever been in such situations? Well, I believe the answer is yes, but let me know if you have a different answer. Let me know if you are able to control your way of thinking. If you do, please let us know some tips and tricks that can help us learn from you. Because we are here to learn from each other. We are here to grow together. And this is the purpose of the podcast. It's called Grow With Me. I want to grow and I want you to grow with me. So, seriously, have you ever been in such situations? Have you ever had some experiences dealing with some challenges in controlling your way of thinking? So, this is actually what we call mental noise. What does that mean, mental noise? Mental noise when you decide to start doing something, when you decide to start working on a project, and all of a sudden your mind starts reminding you of things to do, maybe of some list of things you need to buy from the supermarket, maybe someone that you need to call, maybe a message that you need to send, maybe a meeting that will be conducted in few weeks from now. All these unnecessary dramas start coming up immediately once you decide to turn on your laptop and focus on completing your task or your projects. So, this is what I call mental noise, right? Honestly speaking, we live in an era of fragmented attention. We have forgotten how to sit with a single thought. We want to be productive, we want to finish tasks, we want to finish projects, but our minds are like wild horses running in every direction. Seriously, our mind is like that. Once you decide to start focusing on something, you find yourself thinking about everything but not your project. Because I have actually been there. And I am still struggling, but not as before, because I started training my thoughts. I have started training my mind on how to focus on what I need to focus. And once I finish my parts, or let's say I have some tasks to accomplish, once I finish them, I take a break. I reward myself with a cup of coffee or even like a piece of chocolate, just as a like as a celebration. So you can do the same actually, and we will talk about that in a bit. All right. But what I'm saying is that this is basically a mental noise that we all experience. So, how is it possible then to control that? How is it possible not to be distracted? What you need to do is that you need to train your muscles. Okay, what I mean by muscles here, I don't mean the body, I mean the muscles of our focus. Because focus is actually a muscle. If you don't train it, it will not be strong. If you want to achieve great things, you really need to learn the art of mental block. What do I mean by mental block? Mental block where you need to block everything that is not related to your task. Let's say you have a task to accomplish within 1 hour. So in this case, you need to block everything that disturbs your attention. You need to block your mind, all right? Like if some ideas, like if some unnecessary ideas start disturbing you, speak to yourself. Really, speak to yourself, saying things like, okay, I know this idea is important, but not for now. Okay, I know it might sound crazy, but trust me, it works. Seriously, speak to yourself. Speak to your mind because all of these unnecessary ideas are basically not real for that moment. They are actually real for some other times, but not real for that moment. For that moment, you just need to focus on completing your task. This is the real moment. Other than that, is not real. So you have a task to accomplish in 1 hour. That means you just need to focus on completing that task. If you get notifications, those notifications are not real for that moment because they are not important. So, what you need to do, maybe you can turn off your data, all right? Your phone data. You can turn it off if you are not able to set your phone on a silent mode. Maybe you can set your phone on do not disturb mode, or you can even turn it off if possible. So, I mean, you need to block every way that can direct you to lose your focus. All right. As for me, I always turn off the data because once the data is off, I will not be able to get any notifications. It wasn't easy in the beginning because I kept on thinking about the messages I might get from some friends, or maybe social media notifications and all that. Or maybe I kept on asking, okay, now my phone is the data is off. What if I received important emails? What if I received important messages? You know, these kind of thoughts that start disturbing us are actually not real. Because what I did was that I turned on the data to see if I actually received any important emails or messages. But guess what? I did not receive anything important. Everything else that I received was not important, and it can be answered even days later, not just in hours, all right? So, this is the thing. You need to control your way of thinking. Every time your mind starts saying things like, okay, now your phone is off, or now maybe your data is off. What if you get important notifications? What if someone important, maybe, or what if someone special texts you and you are not there? What if you miss important notifications? What if? And trust me, all these what ifs are not real for that moment. Okay, let's say you really want to make sure not to miss something important, you can tell them. You can tell these people that, okay, for now I am busy. I won't be able to reply to your messages or answer your calls, but I will answer you maybe in 2 hours. That's okay. At least you reminded them. And once you reminded them, that's it. Anything else that disturbs your mind is not important. You just need to think of it this way. All right? So, this is what I mean by mental block. You must understand that focus is a choice, and you are the CEO of your mind. So, when distracting thoughts come in, like for example, some thoughts like maybe worrying about the future, or maybe worrying about the task, or maybe the result, all these thoughts are not real for that moment. All right. So, what you need to do is that you need to speak to your mind. You need to tell your mind that, okay, I know this is important, but not for now. All right. Seriously, do that. I know it sounds easy, but it might not be easy to perform or to achieve. I know that. But we are here to practice. We are here to train ourselves. So, seriously, you need to do that. Maybe you can try with something easy. You don't need to start with something big. Try with something easy. Try with a small task and see how it works. Like, for example, going to the gym. Nobody starts training themselves with heavy exercises on the first day. They need to start with something easy. They need to take it step by step. Same like, for example, let's say you want to lose weight. You can't actually stop eating and drinking simply because you want to lose weight. Or let's say you want to gain some weight. You can't keep on eating 24 hours simply because you want to gain weight quickly. So, the same thing when it comes to controlling your thoughts. It will not be achieved immediately, it takes time, but you need to keep on practicing. I totally know that this is not easy because I am actually there, but I have started doing that. And that's why I thought of sharing um, my experience with you so at least you can do the same. I know exactly what you are going through because really, I have been there. So if you are an employee sitting at your desk right now, staring at mountains of projects, feeling the pressure of deadlines, and wondering how you will ever finish that, well, I totally feel you. If you are an employer or a business owner, carrying the weight of responsibility for your team, feeling like your brain is pulled in 1,000 different directions every single minute, I totally feel you. And if you are a student looking at a blank page, wondering how you are going to start writing the first word of your project, I totally feel you because I have been there. And I am still there because I am a PhD candidate. I have chapters to complete. I have a lot of writings to do. There are actually moments where I feel like my brain is empty with nothing to write. I have actually been there. I don't want to say I am still there because I am practicing, but I have been there. All right. So we are all struggling with the same enemy. This enemy is called the theft of our focus. We are tired, we are distracted, and we are overthinking. But today, we need to try how to train ourselves to stop being distracted. So, the first thing is that you need to understand mental blocks, as I said. You need to ask yourself this question: why can't we focus? Well, it's not because you are being lazy, it is simply because your brain is being so tired. Every notification, every ping, every what if thought is actually a leak in your energy. It's kind of draining your energy. And seriously, in my case, every time I get notifications or every time I hear the ping sound on my phone, I feel like, oh my gosh, who is actually sending me? Who's actually texting me? What kind of information am I receiving? What if, what if, what if? I will be like wondering about that message and about the person before even checking the message. And sometimes, because of being so busy, I feel like that ping notification is really is is really a distraction. So that is why I decided to start turning off the data in order to have my mental peace. And you can do the same. So, a mental block is not actually a permanent wall. It is simply a sign that your mental battery is scattered. And to achieve what you need, you don't need to work harder. You simply need to think sharper. What you need to do, you just need to practice the art of mental blocking. That's it. Which is the ability to shut off the world so that you can hear your own genius. You can hear your own thoughts about that are related to the project that you need to finish. Because if you want to hear random thoughts, oh my gosh, we all have a lot of random thoughts. But what you need to do, you need to control that. Maybe put that random thoughts in a box, close it, and put it far away from you, and focus on the thought that is related to your project. Focus on that. All right. So the first thing is the mental block that we spoke about a few minutes ago. You just need to decide on 1 hour today where you need to complete a particular task. Maybe switch off your phone, maybe tell your colleagues or family members that you are in a deep work and you really need to focus. And by the way, this is not being rude, it's not being selfish, it is being professional with your own life. The second thing that you can do is that control the narratives. What does that mean? When your mind starts saying things like, I can't do this project, I can't complete it, I am too tired, I'm not in the mood, maybe I need to watch something on YouTube, maybe I need to speak to my friends, maybe I need to go out for a short break, maybe. All of these are nonsense, all right? You just need to control that. You need to say to yourself that you are the master of your thought and you really need to focus. In my case, what I usually do is that I tell myself that I have a deadline to reach. And seriously, this is what I do. I have like my own schedule where I tell myself, okay, today I need to finish this and that and that. And I put that basically I write that on a sticker and then stick it on my wall or even on the screen, so that will basically remind me every time I get distracted. And it works actually. So, really, the other thing that can actually help you is the focus anchor. If you feel a mental block, don't walk away to social media. Because if you Try to get some help from social media by simply turn on the notifications to scroll for maybe for a few minutes. You find yourself scrolling for 1 or even 2 hours. So this is what I meant by do not walk away to social media. So what you can do is that stay in your chair. Maybe you can close your eyes for a second and imagine where you will be after completing that task. Seriously, do that. I know it sounds funny to some of you, maybe, but it actually helps. And it really, really works. So you just need to remember that your value is not in how busy you look to others. Your value is in the quality of the work you produce when you are truly present. So my challenge for you today is this. For the next hour, try to be unreachable. Maybe be invisible to the world. So you can be fully visible to yourself and your task. You have the power to control your thoughts. And you are not a victim of your distractions. You are the master of your focus. Seriously, remember that. And again, if you feel that this practice or this training is not easy, try with simple task, all right? And see how it goes. So yeah, thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this resonated with you, well, I would love it if you shared with someone who is struggling to find their focus, find their mental peace. If you have some questions or if you have some other topics that you want me to focus on for the upcoming episodes, well, you are most welcome to let me know down below in the comments. Just let me know the other topics that you want me to focus on. And also, if you have some tips and tricks, if you have some advice regarding what we spoke about in today's episode, you are also welcome to let us know. I I am very much eager to learn a lot from you because, as I said, I am here to grow and I want you to grow with me. So, this is basically the purpose of the podcast. We want to grow together. So, yeah, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also follow me on my podcast channel. If you prefer listening to long episodes, I always upload long episodes on my podcast channel. I will link the channel down below. So, again, thank you so much for being here. Until the next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and keep growing. Bye bye.